Hello, hello. Don't know if that works, but I hope it did. The countdown thing. Let's make sure that everything's okay. Let me know in the chat if you can hear me. You can tell I'm a bit of a noob when it comes to live stream, but here we are. Yay! Good evening, everybody. I can see a few people in the chat already. If I'm looking over here, it's because don't take it personally. I like to look at the camera, but one day I'll sort live stream out. I'm still learning after 3 years. But thanks everyone for joining. And look at this. You guys are so kind. A beautiful Brazilian man. Yes, it's not just about my haircut. Um, thanks for joining, man. Hey, Tech PhD. I clicked on the wrong thing. Darren Johnson and Tech PhD. Yes, awesome. Thank you very much. That is good to know. Good to know that the gear worked. Trust me, it's one of those things that I was in a podcast last week and I was saying, about live stream. It's one of those things that I love after I've done it. It's like going to the gym. You never regret doing it, but it's such a faff. I'm pretty sure if I do it more, I'll learn and get better earlier. But it's just, can you guys hear the background music? By the way, I'm trying to make this a nice and chilled affair. But if you can't hear, let me know. I'll turn it up. And if it gets annoying, I'll turn it down. I'll play to the crowd. Let's greetings from Finland. Yay, nice one. Thank you very much for joining. Actually, that's a good point. Let me know where you're coming from. There's a lot of different parts of the world. Kevin, you are a star. You're in pretty much every video, every live stream as well. Remember you. Thank you. Good to see you here. I don't have a plan today. I'm just gonna, kind of free roll a little bit. I want to do a little bit more of this going forward. I think it's important to, as the channel grows. The channel has grown a lot in the last year, and I think it's important to just get close to you and kind of. I don't know why I'm wearing a headphone, by the way. There's nothing for me to listen to. The hell. Oh, that's better. Yeah, I think it'd be good to kind of just do more of this and get used to just getting to know you better without a script and just kind of free roll a little bit. Of course, we're going to talk about tech. The channel is about tech. So whatever is cooking at the moment. So there's iPhone stuff, there's Samsung things, and lots of things that I'm interested in at the moment. But I also want to kind of answer your questions about the channel, about tech that you might be interested. I literally just ordered the Pixel 8 Pro, so I'm excited about that. So there's reviews coming on that one. I'm always late on the Pixel, but it's coming. And look at you guys from all over the world. Thank you so much for coming here from Manchester. You're just down the road. You near Geneva. Nice, South Africa. My audience is, you guys are the best, man. The amount of love I'm getting in the comments, it's got to a point where it's a nice problem to have, not to cope with responding to every single comment. But trust me, I read them all, and they usually make my day. I mean, every single day, there's always at least one in there that I'm thinking, that's why we do this stuff. That's why it's worth all the hard work, and just seeing you guys coming in from all parts of the world. It's just awesome to. You're cheating, Mr. H Tech. I know you're in Finland, but you're actually a half Brit, half Serb. I don't know. A bit like me. You're a bit of a half and half. Apple Pencil. Where is that? Oh, I see what you mean. I see what you mean. There's been a new Apple Pencil. Apparently, I saw something on Twitter. I don't know. It bores me a little bit. I was expecting a new iPad, and all we got was a pencil, right? But I don't know much about it, so it'd be good to kind of chat about that later on. And Milton Keynes. Now that's lots of roundabouts down there, right, Wendy? That's all I know about Milton Keynes, and a good football team as well, or soccer for you if you're in America. You feel calmer when I hear when. This is funny. You should say that, because I get a lot of comments sometimes saying that I should be doing like ASMR stuff. I don't know if the channel fails. That's my plan B, right? Uh, Mary, hello, Mary, another star. You're in every channel. I mean, yeah. Again, thank you so much for your support. You've been here for a long time, and yeah, it doesn't go unnoticed. All your support is amazing. So yeah, let's go through some of the things I'm going to talk about. So first of all, this is very off the cuff. I wasn't going to do anything today. I was actually recording a video, and I was just chatting to some of my mates on Telegram. Mr. H Tech is there, Tech PhD. Patrick Rambles, you probably know him as well. RJ Tech, RJ. I saw him RJ earlier here as well. I probably missed his comment, but yeah, as a group of us, though, we talk about the good stuff, but also complaining. Usually we're bitching about YouTube and the algorithm and whatnot. But just earlier, I was saying, man, I recorded about 45 minutes of my A roll, which is this angle that you're looking at. Is just me talking at the camera, and I get stuff wrong, like ridiculously. Even though I've got a script, I still get it wrong. So it takes me about 45 minutes on a good day, which was today. When I'm not tired, I've had enough rest, and I recorded 45 minutes, and there was no audio. Can't find the cable now, but there was a microphone cable attached to the camera, which I forgot about, and it just didn't record any audio at all. So I thought, do I have the energy to record another, almost an hour of A roll, or do I just flip the desk and go home? Which was on my mind. I thought maybe I'll just flip the bloody desk. But I thought, no, there's a job here, which is, I've missed dinner with my family, right? I missed the evening is like over. So I thought, let's do something productive. And I promised myself this year to get closer to my community, to get closer to my audience. So I thought, let's do a live stream. And, I'm not going to swear here, but yeah, I thought, screw it. Let's get together and chat. But yeah, look at David. This is, if you don't know David's channel, go check him out. You won't regret it. Probably the better looking out of all YouTubers you've ever seen. The man is yeah, and his voice as well. If you like soothing, calming, top quality imagery, yeah, look no further. Go to this man. The algorithm is a cruel mistress. Absolutely, yeah, but we love her, don't we? Sometimes. Most of the time, we hate her. iPhone 15. I mean, I'll give you my thoughts on iPhone 15, and maybe that will spiral conversations that we can have here. I've been very impressed by two things, but I've also been disappointed by the same sort of thing. One, the camera, right? I have to start with the camera. Yes, there's been overheating issues, and we'll cover that. It was funny that, what's his name? Gosh, he does unboxing therapy. He picked up on my tweet about a month ago when I got the iPhone. The first day, he was like overheating like hell, and put that on his video. So I've been using that because it's good marketing, right? But he said that I was one of the people doing speculation and accusation was all he's used. So anyway, it was quite funny. But it was overheating. So I actually keep this now on my, this is like a thermometer. I also check myself for signs of COVID. But no, on a serious note, I'm checking the iPhone pretty much on a daily basis, and I'm close to going back to Apple and going, you said you fixed it, but can I just have a new iPhone? And I know RJ, I think you got a new iPhone because of that as well. So anyway, but outside of that issue, which is now seems to be okay, the camera has been incredible. I mean, for video, I think is just fantastic. I mean, they never miss on video. I think the S23 Ultra did a fantastic job to catch up with. It was the first non-Apple phone, non-iPhone that I thought, okay, the S23 Ultra can finally do just as good video. I can use the video in my videos. I can use the footage from this in my videos professionally if I wanted to. No problem. But yeah, the 15 Pro Max has just surpassed it again, right? Not just because of ProRes. ProRes is amazing, but I think just the quality. I mean, I was just doing 4K 24, not even 4K 30 or 4K 6, just 4K 24. And I don't know what it is, no, just everything on auto, no pro settings, nothing. It just does an amazing job. You know, as much as I want to not like it, it's impossible, right? I have to be honest. The iPhone for video is just incredible, and for photos as well. Has to be said that they've done a great job there. There's a question here about, don't you agree Xiaomi, Red Magic, and Huawei are underrated? See, I'll talk about this a bit later on, but I created a channel in Brazil, and in Brazil, Chinese brands are more popular than I thought they would be, and it got me thinking. Maybe I should review more phones that are not just flagships from Apple, Google, or Samsung, right? And there are a multitude of brands that I want to check. I mean, Sony is one of them as well, but I've never used or tested any of these brands. I would add Honor in there as well for their foldable Honor Magic 2, I think it's called. I really want to give that a go because I was actually chatting with someone when I went to pick up my iPhone this year. I went to the Apple store. I told this story in my videos, but I'll repeat it anyway. And I met those two Chinese students there, and I had my Fold with me and my S23 Ultra as well. And they were asking, about it. And because I'm so used to YouTube, I was expecting them to give me grief about, oh, how come you're here in an Apple store, with all this Samsung stuff. But they were lovely. They were just genuinely interested about the Fold, and they were talking to me about the Chinese brands. And I thought, well, I really want to give that a go. And yeah, I made a promise to myself to either this year or early next year, just try a couple of Chinese phones just to see what they're like. Hey Alex, your review for Pixel Watch 2. I don't know if I'll get that. I mean, I don't know. I've ordered the Pixel 8 Pro. We'll talk about the watch as well. Actually, the video I was about to record did mention smartwatches in general. But yeah, I never tried the Pixel Watch. Maybe I should as well. Oppo as well. Yeah, they are good, definitely. Just got my Pixel 8 Pro in the mail today. The internet says it overheats like crazy. I've heard that as well. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people saying that it's overheating, but I think that was true. I mean, that was being said about the 7 Pro as well. There was lots of complaints. I mean, I don't know if I got lucky with my Pixels. I mean, the 6 Pro that I had and the 7 Pro, albeit I don't use the Pixel a lot. I use it a lot for my dictation. It's one of those things I got, as you can probably tell, right, a dodgy accent. And the Pixel is the best one for recognizing my voice and translating it into text. So my scripts, I usually first go into the Pixel, record, and then just do some tweaks later on in Ulysses. So yeah, I think it's fantastic for that. I can't wait for my Pixel 8 Pro. I was planning on getting it later in the year, like I did last year with the 7 Pro. I got it like in December, and my video didn't come out until January, I don't think. But so many people, not just on this channel, but in the Brazilian channel as well, started asking me about, hey, when is the Pixel review coming? So I had to buy one. Zero heat. There you go. So I don't know. There were issues last year. We can't deny, but I think there was some quality control issues that some people were getting, even camera issues with the 7 Pro. Like I said, either I got really lucky or people are just sometimes overreacting. Saran Byte, another channel. If you like your Apple news, go check Saran Byte. He's always on point, and he's come back to his old. I mean, I remember, Saran, I don't know if you remember this, but we did a podcast like early days of Alex Eager and Tech 3 years ago. I think you had 500 subs at the time, and I was like, that's amazing. I don't know, I had about 20 or 30. It was like, so I really, it was really interesting to see that recently. I think it was Mike who shared this recently. Anyway, go check Saran Byte if you like Apple news. I mean, he's always a good channel to check, and his humor is awesome. I mean, I love his stuff. Talking about Chinese OEMs, looking forward to OnePlus Open. Oh yeah, I saw some stuff about that. That's the foldable, right? Yes, yeah, it's like the Honor. I really want to try those foldable phones, because as much as I love to say that the Pixel Fold entices me, it just doesn't. I don't know if it's just, I like the fact that the Fold is, easy to carry, easy to use like that in one-handed if I need to. I don't like the idea of having that big screen. And I know it's a preference thing. A lot of people will say the opposite, right? They prefer the big screen. I just like this format. Another legend here in the comments, Leetronics. Thanks for joining, man. And so, fun fact from about Lee. So earlier this year, I did a review of the Garmin Phoenix, and it was Lee actually who sent me his own watch, his personal watch, for me to review. And I think that's yeah, that says it all about this community. You know, you guys are amazing. And I ended up liking it so much that I'm still using I got like a cheaper one, which is the Epix Pro. I just like the screen on this one better. But anyway, he's also keep asking me to check out the Sony Xperia, which yeah, I will one day. Pixel are too expensive for that performance. Yeah, $1,000 run. I don't know why did they go up by $100? Yeah, I don't know. I purposely I'm trying to avoid reading reviews or reading about anything about the Pixel, because I want to provide you with my own take on it. But yeah, I've that I have heard that it is gone up in price, but I'm not sure what the rationale was there. I mean, it's a better screen, right? I don't know. I heard Intel launched its 14th gen processors recently. I wonder how they stack up against the M2 from Apple. Yeah, that'll be interesting, right? Because I've got the 13 gen stuff just over here. It's my gaming setup. That was another video that flopped massively. But that's got the top of the 13th gen, and it's amazing. I mean, I actually installed Adobe Premiere Pro in it. And I was trying to see how does it handle rendering, right, for video. And it was like smooth like butter. It was almost made me want to go back to Adobe. Then I remembered, yeah, it's 50 quid a month. I still pay that, but it's like when it crashes, when Apple does something different to their chip, Adobe is the first thing to annoy me. So I'm sticking with Final Cut Pro for now. Please reply. My priority is good camera for videos and pictures, also decent performance for gaming. Don't like iOS because it's a closed software. As of now, S23 Ultra seems good. So should I buy or wait for this? Definitely wait for the S24 Ultra. The only reason I would recommend the S23 Ultra now is budget. Tell me in the chat if you don't agree with me, by the way. But when it gets close, I mean, we're now, let's say, 2 weeks away from November. We're literally 2.5 months away potentially from a launch. Then maybe another couple of weeks for it to be released. I'd say wait, right, for the S24 Ultra. But if you don't want to pay the premium of buying a new phone on launch, which is always going to be expensive, you're going to find some really decent. I mean, it's good and bad, right? That Samsung stuff doesn't hold its price, but I'd say, yeah, budget will dictate what you should do, I think, on that one. I hope S24 Ultra comes with pure grade 5 titanium. Is that true? Is titanium? See, I'm so out of the loop on leaks and rumors on anything, not just Samsung but Apple as well. I tend to only listen to it when it's really close to the launch. But I didn't even know titanium was on the table for the S24 Ultra. I did mention this to someone before. It's like, that would be awesome if they did, because when I give my S23 Ultra to people to hold, people who usually, are usually predominantly Apple users, the first thing they say is, "I love it, but bloody hell, it's heavy, isn't it?" And I'd agree. It's more. I mean, it's harder to drop this because there's some grip on it, even though it's heavier than the titanium on the iPhone. But yeah, I wasn't even aware that titanium was a thing on the S24 Ultra. I'm really curious though about the S24 Ultra in general, because I don't know. One of the things that I heard was they're going to bring Exynos back, and I was like, no. And maybe I shouldn't think like that. Maybe they did improve it. Maybe I'm being, I don't know. 'Cause I just had a horrible experience with the S22 Ultra, and I know the rest of the world, don't really get the Exynos stuff. Only some markets, but it was just terrible for me. I don't know. So I hope that's not true, and I hope we're and even if it is true, I hope that the performance is decent. Oh, that's Chalky. He's just woke up. If you don't know Chalky, he's in most of my videos because I don't leave him at home alone. He comes with me. Um, he's camera shy at the moment. Anyway, um, yeah, Lee's with me. I'd yeah, that's what I heard, and I'm kind of not liking that idea. They love it when you no comment. I don't want to get demonetized. Before we get to 100k, after we get 100k, maybe I'll let loose, but I'll stay. I'll stay on the line here. Pixels 100 HDR are the best, to be honest. I have a problem with HDR footage in general. I think when you're playing that footage back on the device that you recorded, it seems beautiful. But is when you go to edit that, I don't know. Maybe I'm just bad at editing, but I think when I chuck that HDR footage, whether it's iPhone or Samsung, I don't get the colors back at all, and it takes a lot of effort. And it's not like ProRes or log footage that is a little bit easier to manipulate. HDR footage, I don't know what it is. I can never get the color back in the edit. Hello, thank you, thanks for joining. Yeah, so just by the way, if you're just joining, we're just chilling here. We're not really. There's no schedule, no agenda. Yeah, I'm just kind of having fun. I had a bad evening of recording, so I thought I may as well do something productive. So this is it. One of the things that I wanted to talk about is about the the, the S23 Ultra currently, because I've been having quite a few comments saying that the recent updates have been bad. I haven't experienced anything wrong. I mean, there was a camera update earlier in the year, and I didn't even notice it was needed. I know there was a shutter lag thing, and to be honest, it doesn't bother me too much. But yeah, let me know if you've heard that as well, and if you're experiencing anything on the S23 Ultra. Um, let's answer some. Oh, love from Maldives. Thank you. Thanks for joining. Uh, what do you think about Qualcomm entering the PC world with Snapdragon X? Will they? Yeah, I don't. I think it was what Mike was saying earlier, right? That seems to be able to compete with the Intel stuff. Whether it will compete with, I don't know. Apple have absolutely smashed right with the M series. Performance wise, they're really going to be hard to beat with that architecture. I'd say if anyone can do it, it's probably going to be Intel first. But let's be honest, right? I mean, what do we need all this power for? I mean, currently there's not many things outside of like 3D rendering and I don't know, video editing probably, and gaming, of course. But even gaming, right? There's a lot of I've read it recently. There's been a decline in purchases of the latest stuff because gamers realize that the previous generation of graphic cards is able to handle most games pretty well. So yeah, I think we're getting to a point where it's so the jump to the latest will bring so little benefit. Is that that term of you're not really getting a lot of return on investment by getting the latest. So I'm not sure. It always interests me, and I always try the latest just to see what it's like, and I'm excited for it, but I'm not sure practically, what it does. I think the tech community likes to make small issues big, doesn't it? Yeah, yeah, and I'll put my hand up on that, right? I don't know. Sometimes I look at it and go, "Is this worth talking about?" And if I'm trying to buy a device, right, and I know, right, because before making these videos, I know how much this things cost, and I know different countries in the economy, and it's quite difficult to justify paying over $1,000 on something. And especially when it comes to Apple, you expect it to be near perfection, right? And So when there was an issue like the overheating issue, I just thought, no, it has to be reported because, yeah, if that was someone else, like, if that was a Samsung overheating, like we've had before, Pixel overheating, people would be going mental. So, yeah, I don't have any ties with any of them, so I don't care. Um, don't you think the over 30 zoom is only for marketing? I don't, I think. Let me think about this because there's maybe mostly yes, it is a marketing thing and it is a gimmick in a way. But there's been a couple of occasions where, in the last year, so two occasions in the last year where, one was in at a concert. I was like, okay, I want to get closer, and I, got closer to the artist. That's brilliant. Where I used more than that, and another one was in London where, kind of was able to zoom in into a really cool like landmark and get closer to that. Mostly, I think the 10x zoom, and I heard that that's going, which is bad news for me because I love that out of all the zooms on the Samsung, the 10x for me is the clearest and the I mean, it does something to the background as well, which I love. Much better in my opinion than the 5x on the iPhone, just from a quality, right? Not talking about the zoom itself, but the actual output that you get. I just love the separation that you get on the 10x, and so yeah, the 30x above that, and even it's just yeah, a gimmick mostly, but I think in my opinion anyway. But there will be times when you need that, and that even if it's just once or twice that you need it, it's a good thing to have, even if it's for a bit of a conversation starter, right? And at the pub. You're due an upgrade. Do I go for iPhone 15 Pro Max or Fold 5? Currently you're on a Pixel 7. Damn, that's a tricky one. All right, assuming that you have a mixed ecosystem, right? You're not really worried about, you don't have an iPad, or even if you do, you don't care about it being in line with everything else, or a MacBook or whatever. Assuming that you've got mixed other devices that is not Apple. Yeah, I'd say the Fold 5 will give you more money but I mean, especially how crap the value retains. I sold my Fold 4 for almost a third of the price that I paid 11 months previous, which is nuts. It made me really angry about the fact that it doesn't hold value. But if you're trying to buy something that is not brand new, that's good news for you. And I think value for money. Chat, let me know in the comments if you if you don't agree with that. I think value for money, the Fold 5 will give you more. Now, if you don't care about the ability to use a device like a mini tablet, write on it, use multiple apps in the same screen, then the Fold is not really going to give you much more, right? It's just a bigger screen, and it's got that, that thing that maybe it's one of those devices that will annoy a lot of people just by looking at it with a hinge in the middle. But I don't mind it, and the benefits that I get out of it outweigh the crease. Doesn't really bother me at all. I actually like the feel on the screen in the middle. I know it's not glass, but it's nice. It's a nice feeling to it. So my preference would be, Fold, but it depends on how you use it. If you don't use multitasking, if you don't use like a mini tablet, then the iPhone, it can't go wrong with the iPhone, I have to say. I want to do 50x, but yeah, I'd agree with that. I'd agree with that. Over 50x, you're thinking, just get a bloody camera with a decent lens. There's a Brazilian fella here. Hello, from Porto Alegre. That's south of Brazil. Usually cooler than other parts of Brazil, but beautiful place. Thanks for joining. Obrigado. There you go. I still know how to speak Portuguese. I am doing a live stream after this in Brazilian, so maybe I'll see you there as well. Okay, so thank you for not agreeing with me, because I like that discussion. So 100x zoom is not a gimmick. It's like I said, there will be one or two occasions where it will come clutch. Even if I mean, I used it once to read something, it was like there was a sign. I was like, what the hell does that say? I mean, I'm old as well, so was like, just couldn't read it. So I used the phone to zoom into the thing and took a photo, and it does something crazy with text. I don't know. It's a bit like the moon shot, right? It kind of makes up the resolution of the text, because I did the same with the iPhone, and yes, I was able to read it, but the text was really like pixelated. Samsung almost like, okay, I know what the text should say, so I'm gonna make it high definition, and it was fake. I mean, it was definitely not natural. But oh, thanks very much. The super chat. Look at that. This is brilliant. I really appreciate all the support that I get. Is amazing, because yeah, I do this, like the majority of people on YouTube do this on the side. It's late at night and I should be at home, and so whenever I hear a compliment and someone just saying, you help me make a decision, that kind of makes my day, because it's like, that's why I make these videos, to kind of make your life easier when you're choosing a device, and that's all it's all about. So if I'm helping, and whether if making you laugh for a few seconds in your day, or helping you with your decision to buy something, that's really cool to hear. It comes close to 2 times when you take a photo of the moon after unboxing than ever. Yeah, exactly. Post it on Twitter, and then you never use that again, right? That's exactly. Yeah, I really, another Brazilian fella. Hang on, I clicked on the wrong thing. I beg your pardon. Santa Catarina. Oh my god, I keep clicking on the wrong one. There you go. Gustavo, thank you for joining. And yeah, another Brazilian from the south of Brazil again. Beautiful place. Lee, you just bought the Mac Studio M2 Ultra. Yeah. I was considering getting the Mac Studio. I don't think it was even the M2. It was just the M1. Yeah, that's probably one of the devices I'll probably get eventually, because at the moment I still have the M1 Max MacBook Pro here on my desk, and that's my kind of my workhorse. It does everything. It handles everything for me. The only thing it can't do anymore is just storage. So I think it's got 2 terabytes. Yeah, 2 terabytes, and I just keep the latest projects on it. And anything that's older than like a month or 2 months, it goes into SSDs. But it's able to handle everything at the moment without any glitches. So yeah, the M2 Ultra though, oof, I can't even imagine. That's a lot of power. Someone is asking PS5 or PC. For me, convenience comes first at the moment. So PS5, it's easier for me. The PC is in the studio here, so I can only play if I'm in the studio, which is usually when I'm also working. But at home, the PS5 is again, haven't played for months, because just this time of the year. By the way, can I just say, September, October have been incredible for the channel. So thank you for being here, whether you've been here for a long time or you just subscribed. You've been amazing. It's been one of those, you never know, especially when you're starting out. I still consider myself like a bit of a noob in YouTube, but to see the growth, to see the hard work paying off, and the amount. I mean, I think I had almost 6,000 subscribers in September, on the English channel. It's just crazy. Yeah, it's insane, and I can't thank you enough. So yeah, just thought I'd say that, because I don't want to forget. Do you have a problem with over sharpening with the S23 Ultra? I've got to say, when it comes to video, if you use the pro mode in video, yes, then it does get a little bit over sharpened. I have I was actually using this earlier today I was recording outside, so I've got this ND filter from a company called Sandmark. They do lots of stuff, but one of the things they do is these lenses that you clip onto the phone. Awesome stuff. And then you can use pro mode, and really crank up the exposure and get that bokeh and everything. And it does, on both the iPhone and the S23 Ultra, it does help with making things a little bit smoother, remove some of that over sharpening. The iPhone, to be fair, even if I don't use it, just leave everything on auto, does seem to be smoother. Now, let me show you something. If I can, because this is gonna really stretch my skills here. I was editing a video this weekend, last weekend, and I noticed something on the iPhone in terms of video, and I thought I'll show you because it was, I don't think it's even ProRes, but if behind me, I noticed that the trees had this like I can't really explain. I'll have to show you. So give me a moment to, because it's just weird, this thing that is there. I never noticed it before. Maybe it was there before, but I just never noticed it. It's very pronounced now on video. And it's one of those things, once you see it, it's really hard to unsee it. I'm just gonna make sure I don't share don't share my the wrong screen here. Not that I'm watching anything dodgy. Let me answer one more question before I do that. Do you think the S23 color saturation affects the shading or dark cluster areas of the picture? Actually, I talked about this not so much on the picture, but watching content. I noticed a gradient in some darker areas of the screen. I was like, that's interesting. So it was weird because in most situations I see more detail on the S23 Ultra display, and it doesn't matter what I do with True Tone on or off or brightness, whatever, on the iPhone. I just get more detail, whether it's Disney, YouTube, Amazon Prime, whatever it is I'm watching. It just, in the dark areas, I see more detail on the S23 Ultra. But what you mentioned here reminds me that I do see a grading sometimes, especially if it's like from black to orange, kind of dark orange. I see this grading that sometimes you see on YouTube compression, and I just, yeah, it's weird. I tried to capture that on my latest video, and it was just yeah, something that I never seen before either. But I don't know if that's what you're mentioning, Leif, or if you're mentioning pictures that you take. But I haven't noticed that. I noticed that slow mo on the iPhone, which is interesting. In low light, you get a lot more detail on the iPhone, and I don't know if it's using a different sort of setting or uses different parts of the sensor. I'm really not sure what's going on there. But in comparison with the S23 Ultra, in slow mo, yeah, if it's like a little bit darker, like 5 p.m., 6 p.m., and you want to take slow mo shots, the iPhone is better from a detail perspective. A lot less grain than the S23 Ultra. It's a personal question. No, I don't mind you asking. I'm 40. I'm going to be 45 in November. So old AF, as they say. So, yeah, so let me share my screen and see if I can show you this weird behavior that I'm seeing on the iPhone. Present, share screen. Damn, I can't do it. Entire screen. Oh, I've got it. Yes, okay, this might work. Yeah, so let's see, share that. Yeah, so this is what I use to edit my videos. This is Final Cut Pro. And this is all the footage that I took with the iPhone 15 Pro Max. And I'll find a bit here. Yeah, so these videos here, this was like, I don't know, sunset time here in the UK at the moment. And as you can, I mean, it's a beautiful picture in terms of, not the subject, obviously, but the lighting, everything is perfect here. But I'll make it bigger when I find here we go, this bit. So let me see if I can maybe just drag this here and zoom in a bit. Will this work? Oh, yeah, okay. Right here, I don't know if you can see my mouse moving, but yeah, to the left of the picture here, there's this fringing almost, which just makes the picture look a little bit unnatural. And if I'll do a comparison with in this situation, I only had the iPhone recording, but I have compared recently similar shots with the S23 Ultra, and I don't see that same almost artificial fringing there, which is a little bit annoying. But yeah, I just thought I'd show you this because it's hard to explain. how do I stop sharing now? There you go. Um, but yeah, I don't know if you guys noticed that, but I definitely think think it was weird. No, I'm not joking. Yeah, don't let the cap fool you. I'm old. Yeah, 1978 I was born. Yeah, it's a good year. Good year. Um, I don't know what you mean here, but it's okay not to. I mean, I was mentioning this in my latest videos. Like, it's getting to a point where there's so little between these devices at the top level, right? Samsung, Google, Apple, that it's just difficult to pick one just based on battery, display, cameras, because those elements are becoming so almost like a commodity now. They're brilliant. There'll be differences, of course, but I can't say hand in heart that if you buy an iPhone, you buy a wrong phone, or if you buy a Samsung, you buy. These are, in my opinion, they're just tools, and tools are meant to be used in a way that suits you best, right? Um, so I think that's actually a good thing, because we can then focus on, all right, if I don't need to worry about camera, battery, and display, it comes down then to what what are they useful for me. And in my case, the S23 Ultra or the Fold are more useful than the iPhone currently, just because I can do more on it. It took you long enough to mention the Xperia. Um, yes, so Dario, I've ordered mine. I actually threw a question to my community in Brazil, so which one should I buy, and I think the Obsidian was the favorite, so I had to get that one. As a photographer, what? Oh, I'm glad you think I'm a photographer, but I'm not. I'm just playing around. I do know some basics, but yeah. I would say though, when it comes to AI in editing and magic things, I welcome it. I don't think it's a bad thing, especially when it comes to family photos and things that you want to remember for a long time. I remember 10, 15 years ago with my father-in-law, it's kind of sitting in the Mac and kind of editing people's, because they weren't smiling or their eyes were shut or whatever. And I'm thinking, if that technology was available then, I would have saved 2 hours and could have been drinking wine with him instead or something. But yeah, I think it's useful to a point where I think if you cross the line where let's put someone in that picture that who wasn't even there, I think that's a little bit different, and maybe that would depend on the situation of the person. But I personally wouldn't like to do that. But I think if I took a bunch of photos and the AI chose the best looking image, or I think that's good. I mean, let me know in the chat. What do you think of that one? That's a good question. Um, Try to take a shot with the 12 megapixel camera and another with a 200. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Um, I I do tend to overuse expert raw on the Samsung these days, because it's almost like one of those fail safe settings. Um, but the 200 megapixel is one of those settings that I will take that picture if I know that I'm going to crop it later, because I know it will capture a lot of detail. Um, but I wasn't really worried about the over sharpening bit. I think I only use it mainly because if I'm in a rush, it's okay. I'll just take as much pixels as I can so I can crop it in later. Um, what is my favorite food? I've got to be. I gotta go to my roots. I love. It's simple food in Brazil. There's this thing that we eat a lot, which is black beans. I just love it and I miss it like hell. There's this thing called feijoada. Gustavo will know, and some of the others here will know. It's just meat and black beans, and I love it. Yeah, that's my favorite food. Fogo de Chão in Soho. No way. No way. You mean Soho, New York, or Soho, London? because if it's in London, I'm going there like tomorrow. I've been to Fogo de Chão in LA, I think, and it was lovely. But didn't know there was one. I'm thinking this might be Soho, US, not UK. Let me know. Did Google go with 7 years of recipes because they have less? I don't know. I saw Marquez's video on this. He made some good points about, yeah, 7 years is such a long time that the services and the stuff that they have today may not even exist then. And he shows some evidence of examples where that did happen. But when it comes to smartphones, I don't think that's ever happened. And um, I don't know. I think that's a good. Even if it's like 5 years, come on, right? It's a long time. Oh my God, it's London. No way. I'm going. I didn't know. And I was there. I was there on Friday, and I was looking for stuff. Okay, brilliant. Thank you. I'll definitely check it out. Yeah, I love Brazilian food, and yeah, I miss it. So that's great to know. Damn. Um, bro, I don't want to pay premium for nearly large. Would I be compromising too much on camera if I go for the S23 Ultra? No way, no. Honestly, the S23 Ultra camera, again, correct if I'm wrong here in the chat, but I would say is one of the best cameras I've used in any smartphone for a long time. Of course, the iPhone 15 Pro Max now with the video and ProRes and whatnot allows you to do a little bit more, but damn it, it's hard to beat the S23 Ultra for from a camera perspective, and for all sorts of other things as well. But it was the first Android phone that I thought I can actually use this footage, and I have used this footage professionally or in my videos. So yeah, definitely. I wouldn't, don't want to pay premium for the S24 Ultra. S23 Ultra is going to be a bargain, definitely. Or even the Fold as well. I mean, the Fold is not to be ignored either. If you're just thinking about the camera. Um, are there any features on iOS that you miss when using Android? Yes, actually, I'm in the video that I was meant to record today and failed. I actually mentioned some of this because, um, as much as I'd like to say that there are workarounds for things like AirDrop, and there are, I mean, there's something called NearDrop on the Mac that is the next best thing. But it only works sending things from the iPhone, sorry, from the S23 Ultra or the Fold from an Android device to the Mac. It doesn't work the other way around, which for me is fine. I mean, I only use AirDrop, sending things that are recorded on the smartphone, sending to the Mac to edit. So for me, it's perfect. I mean, there's an extra click that you gotta accept it on the notifications, whereas AirDrop just does it without asking. It just sends it, right? But it's the next best thing, and that is still one of the biggest things in iOS that I miss is the transferring of files between my Samsung stuff to the Mac. Other than that, I don't miss the handoff, as in the music handoff. The things, because one is not as smooth as people portray it to be. For me, anyway, it decides when to work and when not to work with earbuds or the HomePod stuff. Yeah, I don't miss much about that. The This is one of the things that I missed the most, which is the Apple Watch Ultra. It's not even turning on now because it literally is collecting dust right now. So it's more of a hardware thing that I did stay with the iPhone last year with 14 Pro Max, and I actually got a 13 mini at one point just to keep this thing going. But now I don't, yeah, I don't miss a lot with the iOS. 15 series overheating. So yeah, again, I'm probably being cynical here, but has it really been fixed, or did Apple just tweaked a few things in the settings to not generate the errors that I was getting? For example, saying, charging is paused until the iPhone cools down a bit. That error is gone. I haven't seen that since the 1702, but whether it's been fixed or not, it's yeah, to be seen, to be confirmed. Do you think the iPad has had its day? I think iPad OS is the only hope, right? Because the iPad as a bit of hardware is freaking awesome, right? It's got the M chip on it, and it's like for since 2021, I think it was when it came out, right? I was like, brilliant. Let's have some fun with this. And they did bring Final Cut Pro and Logic Pro to it recently, but there's limitations, and it's not really. I mean, it's not usable for me. But I think it has potential, right? It has the ability to do multitasking and things like that, and it's getting better. And I think from what I've seen in iPadOS 17 recently, is a lot better. It's a lot closer to what I was expecting when iPadOS 16 came out, and they had this stage manager stuff. So I think it will depend on, in my opinion anyway, it will depend on how good iPadOS 17 gets. Because from a hardware perspective, beautiful display, don't care about the cameras really, but it's got everything a tablet needs to have, is in terms of processing power and display. And the accessory as well, it has to be said. I actually love the Magic Keyboard, and it makes the experience on the iPad a lot better. But I got rid of my Pro because it was one of those overspending things. Yeah, I wish I never bought it because I didn't use it at all. So I ended up keeping my smaller 11-inch, which I had returned. So I got it again, 11-inch iPad Pro, and it's hardly doing anything. It's my Netflix watching device, right? It's not really I'm not really making the most of it. It can do a lot. I just go to my Galaxy stuff. This is being fun. Apple, I feel, deliberately really hold back. Yes, yeah, it could, and a lot of people will say that they do today use it as a computer, and they do a lot with it. And a lot of people argue that it's not meant to be used like that. But I'd say, I don't know. Apple gave us a lot of power from a hardware perspective. We should be able to use it as such. The same with the iPhone. It's like, I'm not ranting here, but I do think, and I mentioned this a couple of times in my videos, that why can't we have just a simple like split screen so I can have maps and music, or so multiple notes and YouTube. There are loads of times where I want to use two apps, and especially on the 15 Pro Max, it's a big enough display to be able to handle easily two apps. Not asking for much, but I don't know. We can dream, right? It's got, again, what's the processor on this? A17 Pro is meant to be faster than a M1 Mac, the original one. It's like, yeah, it's got enough power, but why can't we do multitasking on it? It's crazy. I guess we know why, right? They want us to buy the iPad. Do I think Apple will add a DeX? Well, that's what I want. That's what I've been saying in my videos. It's like, we've got the power. We've got the power. A17 Pro, it's enough, right, for running two apps. So the ability to multitask is kind of there. We've seen things like the YouTube app, for example, previously. You could do like a picture-in-picture thing, which is, I guess, was good enough. But I'm talking proper two apps on the screen. Yeah, it's not much. It's not much to ask, and I'm pretty sure if they wanted to, they would have done it by now. What do you think of the people buying iPhone for that? Yeah, I mean, there's an element of people buying things because it makes them happy, and I understand it. I'm not knocking, but there is definitely a lot of people, and especially like I said, sometimes I go to a person who has only used iPhones all their lives, and I'll ask them to look at the Fold or look at the S23 Ultra or the Pixel, and the response is always positive. So it's like, oh my gosh, it does feel that sometimes they could be missing out just because they haven't needed or haven't tried to explore something else. I'm quite lucky in doing this reviews that I get to explore a lot more different devices, but not everyone is open to that or haven't even thought they needed it. So I kind of understand it in a way, that why people buy iPhones all the time. Yeah, I agree, Mary. I'd say it's a no-brainer. I asked this in my latest video. I just said, I did a bit of an emoji game, and my gosh, it was almost 99 to one sort of. Yeah, I wasn't expecting it was an overwhelming response agreeing with me that we need to have multitasking, not multitasking, but at least two apps on the iPhone. Um, You've been amazing. I'm gonna leave it here today, but I promise to do more of this. I will look at these comments as well that you left here today and respond to them as well, even if it's after the fact. Thank you so much for your support, and I hope to see you soon. I'll definitely do this again. Thank you so much, guys.